that there is some files and folders here. I used like folders, image folders, script folders, and I made separate HTML files for the separate pages and separate style for them. So it was all about the structure of my project. So as the requirement of the project that was needed to make this project was, I will show you the page to you. It's the page that was required to do like so. It is my project. The page that was required to make like that was this from Candy Shine. The first thing that was required to do is this. When we click on the logo, the home page should be opened. So this is like that. And when we click on the about page should be opened. This is about page. And then when we click on the home page should be opened. This is the exact page. So another requirement was to add discards from the JavaScript dynamically. I used objects and from DOM manipulations to add these cards in here. I will show you the implementation of this for you in the card dynamic. First I have created an object that contains all the data inside. For example, I need just to change the image name, job, and intro. So I made a loop, a function to loop for the every this data inside and just change the image name, job, and intro. And the image is gotten from this object. So it's all about the implementation of the project. And I implemented the HTML first. First I created the HTML for the mobile version and then I styled it. After that I created and I added some media queries about to make it responsive. Here I will show you the responsive needs of this page. So this is for the desktop. When it comes to less than 768 pixels, so it become laser and the page become for the mobile. So when this was responsive and requirement, it means it is a good and a responsive page. So I used from the media queries. So about the code HTML, I used of HTML best practices and semantic elements from Beam technology naming, which is a technology that, for example, here when we name a class in one section, then we just change the parts after that. For example, here we have hidden section and here we have hidden item and like this. And this is a good practice. Another thing that I have did here is to work with comment, because when we want to find a specific code we can easily find that. and like this I have did with the CSS also. Here every section I have created a comment. So this was all about the implementation and HTML best practices. For the background image, for example, for the background image in here, I used from CSS to set a background image. Here you see, this is the background image, this is the background image, and I used from the CSS to set a background. And there's no background when we set the CSS. Here the background appear. Background URL, I have got it a URL, I have given it a URL like this, and then I called background repeat. No repeat, it means when we call this image there should be one image, and the background size should be covered, that cover all the part of the section. And I have give it some padding, margin, and font family Lato. Lato is a font family that I use to all part of this web page. So it was all about the how to set background, how I set it background to this, set background to this page, and I used from JavaScript in this page, from event listeners and DOM manipulations that I have already told. When we click on hamburger menu in here, the pop-up menu, the hidden menu appear here. I used from event listener, and this is another event that when I click on the close button, it should be closed like this. So here's the code that I choose to event listeners. First of all, I define it for constants. The first constant is hidden menu, which get the name of the hidden menu section, and then I have got the hamburger menu from the HTML. When we click on the hamburger menu here, there is the A1 listener. When we click, the display become blocked. When we click on the cancel image, that is close image. When we click on close button, the page should be closed. So, and when we click in items, hidden items, these are the hidden items, this page should be closed. The same rule with this, and should go to the page that we clicked. For example, the about, it should be an about page. So it was about email listeners and about the style of this page. Using of CSS framework is very helpful, easy, and is helpful to not for it ignores wasting time. It ignores to write code, more and more CSS code. For example, if you want to use bootstrap here, we just call the link of the bootstrap and the bootstrap names, class names. We just write a class name for the bootstrap, and the style of that name will be implemented in the web page. Another benefit of the CSS framework is that it make responsive. It has a lot of breakpoints and media queries for all the devices. That it is less than 768 or more than 1080. It has a lot of breakpoints and it make more responsive the page. So it's easy to implement a bootstrap here. Another framework that we can use that is really helpful is Sauce. So the Sauce we can make objects classes for the CSS, and then we can compile that into CSS, and it ignores repeating code. For example, if you want to make a font family, we just make a variable font family, then it assign the color, the font that we want, and whatever we want to use, just call the variable. That is what the Sauce do. So another special and very good work that I have did, I have created a nice readme file. You see here that it contains the name of the project and the table of content. For example, in here we have build with which technologies it is built. It's built. So in this part, this project is built by HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Git, GitHub, Linters. So I used this these technologies and version control system for this image, this project. And another very special thing that I have did with this was to add acknowledgement, because this site, the original site was common license, so I added an acknowledgement to Candy Shine here, and I added also the live demo for this project in here, that when the user want to see the project, the face of the project and the face of the web page, just click in the live demo and the live demo will be opened. So this was all about the readme file. So another thing that I have done with readme is how to use of this project. I brought some guideline here, how to install linter, and it would be helpful. So in this part we are going to you see this is the face of my project here. Even listeners, it have even listeners, like when we click here the pop-up menu come, and when we click here the pop-up menu will go. So in this part I'm going to solve a problem for you. Problem solving is very important, and I like problem solving very much. It is a part of my life. So here I will open a problem which name it sum all odd Fibonacci numbers. To solve a problem, first thing we should do, we should read it carefully. And here I will first read the problem and then implement the code. So here we want to open this problem, what it says. So first of all, we have to read the requirement of the project, of the challenge, and then I want to solve this challenge. And here it says that given a positive integer number, return the sum of all odd Fibonacci numbers that are less than or equal to the num. Here it says that we get an integer, we just sum all the odd Fibonacci numbers that are less than this from 2 1. Fibonacci numbers are numbers that when it's previous, it's current, and it's next. When we sum the previous plus current, it will give us the next one. So it is the sequence of the Fibonacci number. So what we do here, we should make a function that sum all the odd Fibonacci numbers less than the number that we get from the user. So here, first of all, we should make three variables first for the sum, to sum all the Fibonacci number first, then we should make a previous, and then we should a current. So the concept of this is when we get an integer, we have to iterate from 1 up to this integer, and when the number was odd and Fibonacci, we should sum that Fibonacci and go to the next number, like of using stack. So you see here that I used a for loop, then if current remainder 2 equal 1. What does it mean? It means that if it was odd, so we can sum this. For example, it is 1 remainder 2 not equal, so it will not sum. For example, it will 2 remainder 2 equal not 1, so it will not. 3 remainder 2 equal 1, so it will sum the current. So this is the algorithm of this project. I have a next. This is like a stack that push the numbers to go on, to go to the next. For example, here I have previous to the current. Yeah, previous to current, then current equal to next. So the next is equal to current plus previous. The concept is this. So I want to run this if it works. Yeah, it passed all the test cases. So it is done with the problem solving. And I really like problem solving, and it is part of my life. I have some accounts in coding challenge websites like HackerRank and like Codeforce, and I like problem solving. So this was my project that I shown you. I used some soft skill to prepare this project. The soft skill that I really helped me was I learn it independently without get helping from any other person. If I had some problem, I just search it in the internet and find the exact answer. And this is the way that I have worked to create this project. The benefit of the independently learning is that that the teacher is not available for us, so we can do the works, the jobs that are our job and our work without getting help from others. I use of this soft skill, and then I used the SMART goal for this project. It means when this project came to my mind, I just started of making SMART goals for this project. For example, today I just created the UI interface in the notebook, and I have written breakdown the containers in the notebook and the layouts that is very important to this page. This was a SMART goal. This was a SMART goal because it's specific and measurable and achievable. It was not so far from our expectation, and it was not so far that we couldn't achieve this. So it was a SMART goal to achieve. And then I created another goal for the next week. For example, this week I want to implement all the HTML files, structures. For the next week, I will make it responsive. So, this is a SMART goal that I have created for this. And that skill really helped me to make this project. And here, when I wanted to create the web page, you see here, when I started from the home, first for the mobile version, you see here the mobile version. First of all, what I did was making a SMART goal to create the structure of the page. I have just write the containers which is needed and the elements which is needed in this page. Then what I did is to add the information like header, paragraphs, images, and these things. After that, what I did was to implement CSS for this, and then I used a general CSS file like here that I used for the general and for the body and for the li, and I have used some public variables. It means I used, for example, if I want to use of flex, I just call this flex in the class name. So it's all about that. And after that I have created this for the mobile version, then I used media query to implement it and to make it responsive. If we see responsiveness of this page, so I added media query, you see here. This is media screen only, main width 788 pixel. It means if our screen is more than 786, this code should be implemented here. This. So I used media query to make it more responsive. So thank you for watching my project. I'm very glad to receive any feedback about this project, and or if you would like this project, you can like this. And thank you for watching this. In conclusion, I want to say that I'm a professional software developer and I have a passion to work remotely and collaborative team working, and I am passionate to work hours after any break in front of the computer, and I really love this. And about this project, I did all the requirement of this project. That was like when we click in here, and if the screen size is for the mobile, all the requirements, the cards are added dynamically of the JavaScript, and this was all the requirements. And the very important thing that I have did is problem solving, that it helped me in this part, adding cards to HTML. It needs practices to solve problems and to implement this in a web page. So there was a lot of skills that I used to implement in this website. Soft skills, HTML best practices, use of semantic HTMLs, using of media queries to make it responsive, and use of smart goals that is achievable, specific, and measurable. So I would like you to thank you to say thanks a lot to see this video, and this was all about my project that I have shown for you. Thank you so much.